Most men think women want words, compliments, stories, reassurance. They think talking more gets them closer. But the truth? The man who talks less gets chased more. Because silence isn't absence, it's presence. And when a man controls his words, he controls the frame. He becomes unpredictable, hard to decode, and that makes her obsessed. Women aren't drawn to the guy who explains himself. They're drawn to the one they can't quite figure out. The one who says just enough to keep them wondering, then disappears into the moment like he knows something they don't. Less words, more pull. This isn't about playing games, it's about restraint, control, stoic precision. Because when you say less, she listens more. Saying less isn't about being cold, it's about being centered. See, when a man is calm and quiet, he sends one powerful signal: I don't need to prove myself. And that, it drives her crazy. Because most guys rush to fill silence. They overshare, they chase validation. But when you hold the silence, you flip the dynamic. Suddenly she starts leaning in. She starts wondering, why isn't he reacting like other guys? Why does his silence feel so confident? It's because women feel energy, not words. And silence, when grounded in masculinity, feels like power. The room shifts when a stoic man speaks slowly, with intention. She listens more carefully. She respects it more deeply. It's not just what you say, it's when you choose to say it, and why. Women are wired to read between the lines. When you say less, you give her space to project, imagine, and obsess. You become a puzzle. And here's the secret. Women don't crave what's obvious. They crave what's uncertain, what's just out of reach. By holding back your words, you create a vacuum, and nature hates a vacuum. So what does she do? She fills it with curiosity, with questions, with emotional investment. She wonders, does he like me? What's he thinking? Why is he not chasing me like the rest? The more questions she asks, the more emotionally attached she becomes. And it all started because you didn't say too much. Less is more. When the silence is intentional, when it's owned. She's not just hearing silence, she's feeling it. And it feels like control, like mystery, like strength. If you're the kind of man who plays the long game, calm, in control, and always one step ahead, hit that subscribe button and stay on the stoic path. When every other man talks too much, tries too hard, and reveals too soon, you, the stoic, do the opposite. You respond with calm, with control. You leave just enough unsaid to keep her attention locked. Because when a man doesn't rush to fill silence, when he pauses, observes, and only speaks with purpose, it triggers something deep. She feels that you're not seeking approval. You're not trying to impress. You're not performing. You're simply being, fully grounded, unshakable. And this unsettles her in the best way. She starts to chase that feeling. Not your attention, but the state you're in. That inner stability. That emotional independence. Your silence says, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here because I choose to be. And I can leave just as easily. It's not arrogance, it's presence. And presence, real masculine presence, is rare. It's what makes you unforgettable. Every time you resist the urge to explain yourself, every time you let silence carry the weight, you create tension. The kind of tension that keeps her thinking about you hours after the conversation ends. And here's the paradox. The less you give, the more she invests. Because women aren't addicted to words, they're addicted to meaning, to interpretation, to the puzzle. And when you're not constantly clarifying, you become a riddle she wants to solve. She replays your pauses, she rewrites your glances, she imagines intentions behind your silences, and in doing that, she gives you space inside her mind, space that men who overshare will never earn. Most guys talk themselves out of attraction. They reveal too much, too fast, too easily. But you master the art of controlled mystery, not by being cold, but by being selective. You speak like a man who values his energy, his attention, his time, and that's magnetic. Here's what most men miss. When you leave empty space in a conversation, she fills it with curiosity, with questions, with thoughts about you. You see, silence isn't a void, it's pressure, and pressure creates emotional response. When you're not rushing to impress her with stories, jokes, or validation, you flip the power dynamic. She starts performing for your attention, and she doesn't even realize it. She leans in. She watches your body language. She reads between your words, because silence makes her work for connection, and effort builds emotional investment. The moment she starts wondering what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what your silence means, you've already won. Because you're not needy, you're not chasing, you're choosing when to reveal and when to hold back. That's what separates the man who's remembered from the one who's forgotten the moment he leaves. You're not just another voice in the noise, you're the silence she can't ignore. But let me break it down even more. When a man talks too much, he reveals everything too fast. There's no puzzle, no depth, no challenge. And in her mind, he becomes predictable. Predictability is the killer of desire. But when you hold back, when your energy is calm, when your words are few but deliberate, you spark something primal in her. She doesn't just want your attention, she wants to earn your attention. Because in her subconscious mind, effort equals value. If she has to decode you, work for you, and wonder about you, you become the rare man she can't categorize or control. That mystery isn't just attractive, it's irresistible. Most guys are an open book. You're the closed chapter she keeps rereading, hoping to find the meaning between the lines. That's the secret power of restraint. You say less, but you mean more. So next time you're tempted to fill the silence, don't. Let her lean into the quiet. Let her wonder. Let her feel the weight of your presence, not your words. Because the man who doesn't chase, the man who doesn't explain himself, the man who is selective with his energy, that man becomes the story in her mind she can't stop telling herself. While others speak to be heard, you speak to be remembered. And often, you don't even need to speak at all. This is the Stoic path. If you felt that, subscribe. And remember, the less you say, the more she feels. Drop a comment. What's the one time you said nothing and everything changed? I'm reading every story.